So Josh, I was one of the first people to buy the Suzuki Jimny when it came out 5 years ago. I've practiced off-roading, I've gotten a lot better at it. I have a better budget now, I need something bigger, better that can tackle even worse trails. What is the next step for me?
This is the most logical
No, I don't want a Thar one, but I do not want that image. No,
This is not a Thar. This is the reason why the Thar exists. It's the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon.
I didn't mean I have 85 lakhs to spend on a car. A little less than that, perhaps I can stretch. But man, as much as I'd love this, can't stretch that much.
We are looking at a Wrangler Rubicon that has run in excess of 20,000 kilometers. Like any used car, the first thing you check for is damage to the bodywork. And in this car, the bumper is plastic because most people take it apart and put in a steel bumper and a winch and all. But here, of course, you can see that this is broken right here. There's a huge scratch and maybe breaks under the panel. But the interesting thing here is that somebody who buys the Wrangler and is selling it already has enough money. So they'll just swap this out for a new one. So
100%.
go underneath the car and see if the bumper is fitting in the same place at both ends to make sure that chassis does not have any bend. Then you come around to the side. Now remember, this is a media car that has been abused, like properly abused. And on the entire side profile, the only damage that you see is down here on this retractable running board. Retractable because you open the door and it comes sliding down like that.
Wait, so Josh, if so many of the parts lower down are damaged, isn't it worth taking a look at the underbody as well to inspect damage? But like, how would we do that?
Now, because the Wrangler has such a long wheelbase and we have the 4-door model in India, it does get beached a lot, which is why it's good to have underbody protection. So you have to go under the car and check for damage.
Yeah.
If it already has an underbody plate, then that's good enough. But otherwise, all good. All of this stuff, this, those, all of it, it comes off. You take it off when you go hardcore off-roading.
That's right. Earlier you mentioned this is the reason why the Thar exists, and we've got so many cues of that. Look at these tail lights. If you took a picture of just this section, I wouldn't be able to tell.
I mean, that is the reason. The Thar is born from this one and it looks identical. That's the reason that car also has such a significant and enduring road presence because it's straight from the Wrangler.
100%.
Icon. And recently we were in Mumbai and we got rear-ended by a car. And since then, we have been trying to find out where that car hit the Wrangler and we just don't know. That thing's bumper has a dent on it, but we are unable to find where it hit the car. One thing that you must do is before you finish the inspection, you have to check if the wheels are in a straight line and check if the chassis has even a slightest bend to it. The easiest way to check is to see if this optional side step folds down and folds back up without any problem.
As you've probably observed by now, I do like a nice pair of auxiliary lights, and I particularly like these. I think they look super cool, but they do look like a bit of a retrofit. So have these come from the factory or have they been fitted later as an aftermarket part?
Like the floorboard, this is also from the factory and it's an accessory. And what I really like about it is not the way they light up at night, but the way they have been wired and the buttons they have on the inside. Down here, we have aux 1, aux 2, aux 3, aux 4. Now, right now, the lights are connected to aux 1.
Okay.
When it comes out of the factory, this is connected to nothing. But then you can have things around the car, like a winch, for example, and use the buttons, inbuilt buttons. Ready here. Now, looking at this car, would you say that this has run 22,000 kilometers based on the wear and tear on the inside?
Absolutely not. And considering it's a media car, as you said earlier, it's been thrashed everywhere. The interior looks in top nick.
Exactly. Plus, you have to also understand that you can take a hose and wash this entire place down and it would still work properly. Plus, the floor has drain plugs. So if there's water inside the car when you drive without the doors on and everything, you just open the drain plug and the water will go right through the floor. Down here, we have a button to lock the front and rear differential. We have a button to disconnect the sway bar and 4 high, 4 low, automatic 4 high. Just out of the box, this car is ready to go off.
And this is my favorite bit. The roof comes off.
And interestingly, the speaker system is inside the roll cage. So this car gets Alpine sound system, which is extremely good. And just because you take off the roof and the doors does not mean the party has a stop.
Yep. So the speakers are actually up here, which is not where you'd normally see them in other cars. I'm not liking this much back here, man.
Yeah, that's because this seat is set to my height. And when somebody as tall as me is driving, the person behind does not have a lot of room. But you have to remember that this car is not built for comfort. as we found out when we drove to Mumbai.
Yeah, I was in the back while going and I hadn't slept much the previous night. Struggled to sleep because, again, not super comfortable. The seat base is a little bit on the shorter side as well. And because all the panels come off, there's no concept of sound insulation on the roof or the door. So it's mad noisy, especially at expressway speeds.
Plus, this car is currently running mud terrain tires, which creates its own noise. Then there's wind noise and the road noise that is associated with Pune expressways, concrete roads. And that is the biggest flaw with the Wrangler. It's not a flaw, that the car is not built for that.
It's basically single-minded on what it wants to achieve. It's a targeted off-roader, and that means it's not necessarily the easiest car to live with on a day-to-day basis, to do things that you would do with other cars and expect it to do flawlessly, like intercity travel.
Exactly. That's why this car is only going to be recommended and going to find a home in places where the Jimny and Thar are already thriving, because those people understand the lifestyle of the Wrangler. Like, don't insult this car by expecting it to be a highway cruiser.
Yeah. So it's wrong to think of the Wrangler as just a car. It's more of integration into a lifestyle.
Yes, it is. I mean, we'll start with the mud terrain tires. And this tire, if you look at it, the treads are intact and it's super smooth and it's brand new and looks very nice. Yeah. But if you look at the other tires, they are all cut, worn out, chipped off and all that. And I can tell you for a fact that out of the 22,000 kilometers this car has done, about less than a quarter of it would have been on proper off-road. Those tires have suffered because this car has spent most of its time on tarmac. There are not many people who understand this lifestyle, have time for the lifestyle, or are brave enough to try this lifestyle.
But conversely, I'd also like to add that a lot of people that find appeal in the Wrangler find appeal in that lifestyle, but often don't understand how focused it is on being an off-roader, and then sometimes they might not understand the compromises that come with the car. And it's easy to get carried away with the idea of that lifestyle as well. So you should really know what you're going to use it for before committing to it.
Yes, if you're going to buy a used Wrangler, be very sure that you have another car at home for the comfort-based runs, because this is purely for adventure. Now this, if you notice, once I put this on and latch it in place, it has a bit of play to it, and that creates a very irritating noise when on the highway.
Oh, is that so? That was making the noise.
Like, oh, how we get around that is by using a bit of cloth, stuff it over there, and then close it up so that it doesn't make a noise.
Maybe they should offer that as an accessory.
You should be ready to do these kind of DIYs to live with a car like this, because it is not perfect, but it will definitely give you a lot of memorable memories.
Yeah, why not? Okay, you've pretty much convinced me that I can get one of these, but how much do I need to spend?
At the starting of the week, at Summit Talks, you'll hear them speak. It's only Monday.
So this car, brand new, should cost about 4 of those.
Yeah.
I think if you can get a good deal that costs about 3 of those, that's good enough.
Can one of them be pre-owned?
Why not? The less is the better.